we have such a recency bias. Right, the latest thing we have seen is always the best. Right, the last thing we saw is always the best. I mean, when it comes to the best ever, I mean, like I said yesterday, I think this is a good top 10, but I don't think this was a top 5 Super Bowl. And I think the refs again robbed us of that. It's funny to see guys like Kirk Herbstreit and Emmanuel Acho going at it today. Mike Lupica on Twitter was like, "Oh, it's a penalty. You got to call it."
Mark Schlereth said it was a robbery.
It was. I mean,
played the game.
I think it was Emmanuel Acho that was like, "If you think it was a penalty, you better not drive 50 in a 45." You know, I mean, that he equated that penalty call to getting a ticket going 50 and a 45.
I said it yesterday on the show. I said the same thing. 50 and a 45. It was like, cops aren't calling that. Like, cops aren't they're not giving you 50 and a 40 unless you're in Ferndale. But
if you're going to call it all game.
Agreed. And that was the one big thing I took away from the game. Matt, to answer your question, Ryan, no, it wasn't a top 5 game. It wasn't. If you really break the Super Bowl down, if you look at it, which I've looked at it again a little bit, you break it down, they scored 8 points in the second half. Or they scored, 11. Like, Philly scored 11 points in the second half. Their defense played horrible. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs scored on every freaking possession in the second half, and they scored only 11 points. Thank God Jalen Hurts was there. You know, there were some good plays, and I think when you look at it, I think it was the greatest battle I've seen of two opposing individuals, if you will, for a very long time. It was the will of Patrick Mahomes, one leg, doing whatever it took. His efficiency, 21 of 26, 3 touchdowns. I mean, the run that he had. Then you got Jalen Hurts on the other side. You're talking about guys that finished 1 and 2 in the NFL MVP. So if we're talking about the greatest battle of two guys going head-to-head, mano-a-mano, I want my squad to win, you want your squad to win. Well, that was a hell of a matchup. And it's one of the best I've seen in a very long time in the top 2 players. But in terms of the game as a whole, no, I don't think it's a top 10, if I'm being honest. I think it had its moments, but it's not a top 10 if we're being honest. Recency bias definitely pays a fact.
Hey, I've been watching since Super Bowl 5.
Right.
All right, so that's 52 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
It's definitely top 7, if you ask me. The way they were going back and forth for a while. After Philly tied it up, you're going to tell me that's not a great game? That's a phenomenal game.
A great game and top 10 are very different. There are some great players.
Well,
not every player is a top 10 player.